So then at this time of year in the fall, it's it's tempting to just think about all the hard work you've done all season and just relax. But at this time of year, it's crucial to start getting your fields ready for the next season to come. And one of the main ways we do that is through cover crops. So what are you trying to do when you plant a cover crop as a farmer?
So cover crops are crops that you raise not for sale, but to maintain or improve the health of the soil overall. You can do a number of different things with cover crops. You can add nitrogen to the soil, you can help suppress weeds, you can add carbon to the soil, organic matter, to help build up the soil and improve the drainage. We use cover crops for all those different purposes.
Okay, and so heading into the fall and the winter, and in preparation for next season, what sort of cover crops were we working with?
So we have a pretty low tillage system, so we like to use fall cover crops that winter kill, which means that they'll die when the really cold weather sets in over the winter. That's just so that we don't have to turn in as much and do as much plowing when it comes to the spring. So in this field that we're going to be planting in next year, you can see behind me, this is all tillage radishes and oats, both of which will winter kill. The oats add a good amount of quite a bit of organic matter, and the tillage radishes are great because they have nice deep tap roots that improve the drainage. And those deep tap roots are also good at pulling up any nitrogen that's washed down lower in the soil.
So this looks good. It looks pretty well established at this point.
Definitely well established. Maybe a little too densely planted. Went a little heavy with the cedar this year.
I see. Okay, so Landon, you mentioned that tillage radishes can help improve drainage, which is something that in our heavy clay fields is pretty helpful to us. To give people a better sense of how they do that, you have some examples of what the tillage radishes we recently planted look like and what they can look like when they get to full size. So why don't you first show us the tillage radish that we recently planted. Okay, so you can see it's got like a nice long taproot there, but
To give you a sense of it, it's probably already about 8 inches long.
But skinny.
But skinny, yeah.
Okay, and how big can they get?
This is one that was a seed that we don't know when it sprouted exactly, but it was left over from when we had used these in the past. You can see how much bigger that is around. The part that was underground was also still only about 8 inches, but that's pretty good because that's the main rooting area for your annual crops, but it actually has some of the skinnier roots that go even further down.
And that's basically drilling a giant hole into the soil.
Yep, and when it winter kills, it ends up just disintegrating and it leaves basically a big hole right in the field that you can see will go at least 8 inches down.
So Landon, we're now looking out over a different field that has a different cover. Can you tell us a little bit about what's in this field?
Sure. Here we planted field peas. Field peas are also something that will winter kill. Again, we like them just because of our low tillage methods. But the field peas are also a legume, so they'll help add nitrogen back into the soil.
Cool. And why didn't you decide to do the oats and the tillage radishes here?
Well, this area we're actually going to be using for a lot of our fall crops next year. So I didn't want to plant tillage radishes just because they're in that same general brassica family as a lot of our fall crops, and they could in theory attract pests like flea beetles and harlequin beetles, and we don't really want them to already be here just before we plant.
Establishing their life cycles and raising many, many generations of horrible monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that. Cool.
Another good option would have been to do rye and vetch, which are a pretty traditional fall cover crop. The rye can be a lot to turn in though, which is why we didn't do that. We would have had time to turn it in because we are planting fall crops here next year, but figured we'd give the field peas a try instead.
It's always fun to experiment.
Sure.
Well, thanks Landon. I look forward to the well-draining, high organic matter, nitrogen heavy, and weed-free fields that these cover crops are going to afford us.
Me too.